We are going to wade in the water and cozy embrace of Mercury and Venus in Cancer as we head into episode 67 of Twitchy Tuesdays. In the Zodiac Spotlight, we're going to break down each of those planets and their energy in Cancer. And then we'll head over to the chart Chronicles where we will look at their conjunction, their ingresses, and what this whole story looks like. Then we will end with the Twitchy Tip of the week. So stick with me as we navigate the depths of our emotions and, Eight of Cups, discover how to communicate with empathy and love. Let's start out with cleaning out the broom closet. So, this isn't a Twitchy Tuesday. Whoops, surprise, coming out on a Saturday, coming out on 6/8. So, this is one of those amazing episodes where, due to life, we are releasing this on a Saturday and 6/8, Mars and Taurus day. So, all of this energy that you see 6/4, 6/5, 6/6, all of that energy has already occurred. So, this is a wonderful moment to take stock, do a little bit of reflection time, see kind of how everything's been working with you. We will talk about Mars and Taurus right now as well, but I do want to first say if you are new to my channel, welcome to Twitchy Tuesdays. And for those that are joining me again, thank you so much. All right, let's just take a quick rundown of where we've already been, a little bit of reflection time, and then let's talk about what's still to come. So on 6/4, we had a lot of energy. I mean, that's one, two, three, four, five different like conglomerates of energy. You had Venus sextiling the North Node, Mercury trining Pluto retrograde, Mercury then conjuncting Jupiter in Gemini. That was awesome. We had the Venus Cazimi, also really wonderful, yummy energy. And then Pallas Athene opposing Uranus. Then on 6/5, Vesta in Cancer trined Pallas Athene. And then on 6/6, that beautiful Gemini new moon with Vesta in Cancer sextiling Uranus. And then we had the day to integrate from that new moon. We come to today. Venus in Gemini square Saturn in Pisces at 19 degrees, 3 arc minutes, and Mars officially ingresses into Taurus. So that Venus square Saturn is part of our series that we have going on with our Sabian symbols. You can go and check out the playlist for all of those videos. But let's just take a pause because we have this Eight of Cups kind of guiding our way today, our guiding light. I had a lot of swords come out, but this was the card that wanted to stick today. And I love it. I mean, it's very reminiscent of Venus and Cancer or Venus and Mercury headed into Cancer together. Kind of this journey that they have been on, are going on, and are going to be kind of partnering on over the next couple of months. They do 2 conjunctions this year. So there's kind of this closeness, this relatability, this understanding, this mutual reception, like we're here, even though that's not what that term means, but it does give me that sense of, well, excuse me, it's not the I'm not meaning it in the astrological term of mutual reception. So but it is this joining of the heart and mind, allowing like things to bring you forward into what you're going into. It's about acknowledging that there is change, acknowledging that there's still something that you're seeking out there that you do need to go and move and take action on. And it's a knowing. This is the moon. These are the cups. This is something internal that's really driving you. And as Mars gets into Taurus, that's even going to be more prevalent, right? We've got this time now where Mars can slow down, can take a beat, can assess, can really look at security and safety. And I mean, he just came out of this, that Three of Swords came out of this wild ride in his home sign of Aries, coming back from campaign after 2 years being away. And there is all sorts of shit happening. He's a changed man, he is a changed warrior. Everybody around him has changed. His kingdom has changed. Your world has changed. And that can be a little bit of loss. It can be a little bit of heartache. It can be a little bit of, oh, man, I actually now have to go do some work. Shit. I mean, I knew it was going to be work, but damn, I didn't think it was going to be this kind of work, right? There could be this wanting like a nostalgia moment where he gets into Taurus and he's like, I just wish for the good old days. Well, the good old days are going to be here. You've got to work to put them into place again. So let's talk more. Well, let me finish out 6-9 since that's the last thing left, and then we'll talk about Mars and Taurus. So 6-9, Mercury in Gemini squares Juno in Virgo at 12 degrees 19 arc minutes. The Sun in Gemini will square Saturn, again, part of our series, 19 degrees 5 arc minutes. And Mercury in Gemini will sextile the North Node in Aries at 13 degrees 10 arc minutes. Okay, and then integration time on 6-10. So let's talk about this Mars and Taurus. First off, ooh, we got some pentacles coming out. Hold on, I want to get one more card to talk about this Mars and Taurus journey that we're about ready to head on. One more, please. Thank you. Yes, sir. All right. So we've got the prevailing energy, this Eight of Cups. We have the Three of Swords, this coming off of his journey, followed by the Eight of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles, hello, Taurus energy, and then crowned off by the Four of Rods. Love this. This is very Mars in Gemini. So this to me is the story of Mars in Taurus as then he gets to crown his achievements, he gets to unify, he gets to bring forward everything into that Gemini energy when he ingresses. Okay, so Mars getting into Taurus. It's not just as simple as, oh, yay, Mars is getting into Taurus this year. Woo! Nope, Mars gets into Taurus and immediately applies to a square with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Immediately. And that square is going to last for a little bit. So the square will be exact actually on 6/11. So that is going to be our next Twitchy Tuesday episode. And that will happen at 1 degrees 45 arc minutes. Three of Swords again, Mars square Pluto. So we saw and if you've been following astrology for quite a few years, especially from 2020 on, when things started just like, for me, especially like really just starting clicking into place, Mars and Pluto pack a mean punch. Like they are the dynamic duo. They are super powerful when they get together. They hold no shit back. They are going to mess up and bring the rain, bring the everything, no matter how you feel about it. Mars and Pluto are going to do Mars and Pluto. And we saw that earlier this year when they were in their little talks and meetups, and they pack a punch and they are going to continue to pack a punch. And I said this at the beginning of the year. Mars is my planet to watch this year. Mars is a sneaky little effer this year. We got all kinds of distracted with all of these clusters going on and like massive energy, and Pluto's headed back into Cap. Like there's so Jupiter and Gemini. There was so much that was happening that Mars just kind of came in and was like, oh, wait. I've got some things for y'all. I've got some things for y'all. I'm just going to dip my toe in when it's necessary. And then I'm really going to show you what Mars is all about this year. So this meetup in particular is really interesting because after this meetup, whatever this Three of Swords conversation with Pluto ends up becoming, and again, this could be lamenting on the past. It could be new pouring rain down on you. It could be new moments that you have to really like tender-hearted, you have to deal with, you have to look at. It could ping, we are in Taurus. It could ping those self-worth sort of things, especially with Pluto being in Aquarius when it comes to, your self-worth on social media. when it comes to your self-worth in group settings, in things that you do with the community and the communities that you're in. So, you know, once this meetup occurs, whatever this is, Mars has to sit in his shit, legitimately in Taurus isolation. So this square happens on 6/11, and Mars sits in this energy, in this Three of Swords energy, in this Eight of Pentacles energy, all the way until the 21st of June. That is a long, like contemplation period for Mars. Mars wants this action. Mars wants to go and do something about it. But I love that the Eight of Pentacles is represented for this particular time frame. Because here's the thing: while Mars may want to take action in a way that's like destroy the world, tower moment, let me defeat my enemies, his worth and his value, how to make this time, this especially overarching this time, how to make this time the most valuable is by sitting in self reflection, doing the work that you need to do on self in order to come out better on the other end. It's not about driving a campaign. This is not a knight. There's no horse here. This person is sitting here hammering out all of these pentacles, using his craft, learning new things, um, being in that introspection, being okay to be in that isolatory moment, being okay to reflect on the things, being okay to say, you know what, I have this. I have this. Because he's going to sit and you can sit there and go around your cell and like try to knock shit down. You can try to push. But here's the thing: Pluto ain't going to let you do that, and neither the fuck is Saturn. You are going to be stuck in this card. So make the most of it. You can come out, look at all of these pentacles. You can come out rich AF from the 11th to the 21st by tempering this Mars and using that energy, that need and want to take action in a productive way for self. Because on the 21st, he's going to sextile Mercury. Look at Mercury. Mercury's like, bruh, look at what you've done. Dude, this is great. Look at this. You have all of these pentacles. You not only have 8, you have this other 7 that's blooming. I see this change in you. Man, it's only been a couple of weeks. What have you been doing with yourself? Like, I am whelmed, impressed. Impressed. Like, this is awesome. One other thing here. Guess what else we have to contend with from the 11th to the 21st? He has Mars is all alone, isolated, except for the Uranian energy that is in Taurus. He is in co-presence with Uranus. Do things differently. If this is not your typical way to combat this, do things differently. It will be rewarded. It will be rewarded. Now, this co-presence with Uranus, well, it will be rewarded. Even better, right? This Four of Wands. This co-presence with Uranus actually doesn't get loud till July. So we'll talk about that as we head towards July and as we get into July, because that's going to be a very interesting thing. But we have this beautiful creative space where we can really get down to these Taurian things and really, really make a difference. So again, the energy that I'm getting is sitting in silence, sitting in contemplation. Yes, absolutely not gonna fucking lie. It could feel like purgatory. It could feel like house arrest. It could feel like isolation. It depends upon how you look at it, because it could also be incredibly stoic. It could be incredibly stoic. It's this understanding if you handle things well. How are you going to smooth things out if you don't? Because Mercury is here. Mercury's going to call you out on your bullshit. Mercury on the 21st will call you out on your bullshit. So, are you handling things well? How are you going to smooth things over if you don't? Now, Mars, if we go back to our story that we've been going down with Mars, Mars now is back in his kingdom. He's had these conversations with the North Node and Chiron. He is out of now his sign. And now he has to sit there and go, what happened? I now have to deal with my people. How they handled everything is in his absence. Mercury was one of those individuals that was there in his absence, handling business in his kingdom. What is that? Are you rewarding Mercury for that? Can we acknowledge the work that Mercury's done? I get that you may be dealing with something internal, but that doesn't and shouldn't negate you actually still rewarding and acknowledging and not projecting your shit onto other people that were trying to help you and actually did a damn good job at doing it. So, thinking about how do we, give grace? How do we give acknowledgments? Think about it in Taurus ways, in the way that Mars in Taurus really works with you. So, you know, the other thing with this Pluto, and I'm going to come back here. Actually, I'm really going to come here too. So the other thing with this Pluto square, Pluto's all about power. Mars, in a sense, is also all about power. It shows up in a little bit of different way because it's more of that self power, where Pluto's like, I am power. And so think about how maybe this has a little bit to do with you got a little shocked. We are with Uranus here about who power players really were. Maybe you thought you were a power player and then you got like, what is it in Survivor? And you got like, sandblasted. You got like, you didn't see that coming. Holy shit. What is happening here? It's really like maybe you find out that there was somebody else that was pulling the puppet strings and you're like, I had no idea. How did you know? Why did you know? Why was I on the other side of the vote? Why was I on the other side of the vote? Blind side. Why? I should have been in this vote. I've always been on the right side of the vote. And you begin to have to truly contemplate what that means for you and what is happening here. And like where does that actually put you in your game, with your game, right? We're going back to Survivor here. So that, and then we come out at the other end. This is Mercury and Gemini. All things considered, whatever this journey is, all things considered, we come out with the Four of Rods when he gets into Gemini: unity, passion, deliberate, staking in the ground to move forward into your highest and best expression of self. A win. This is a huge win. This is a celebration of something. And so, it may take, again, there's time here. This isn't a boom, we hit Pluto and oh, everything's great and happy. We hit Pluto, we moved on. This one is going to sit for a minute. So let it sit, absorb, do what you got to do. Okay. That is our Mars in Taurus. Let us head over to the Zodiac Spotlight. This is where we are going to get into all of the yummy Venus and Mercury and Cancer things. And then we will head to Chart Chronicles to really talk about, show the chart and kind of show the progression of this little dance that Mercury and Venus are on. So, depending upon, what you apply to, what stories, and truly for me, this really depends upon the energy. But Mercury and Venus for me have always worked more of like a brother and a sister, maybe even like distant cousins that, okay, maybe you could get away with being lovers, like think about back in the day when you wanted to keep things in the bloodline, like, oh, this is my cousin 14th removed, whatever. It just really depends upon the energy and what's going on. This one, I definitely feel with Venus and Mercury, their journey this year, especially getting into Cancer. I really feel like these are, more of that supportive energy, versus like the lusty energy and wanting to like come together in some sort of way. This is very supportive. It's very, um, we're here for each other, right? So we come back to this Eight of Cups. We come back to the journey. We come back to the intuitive feelings and then what you're going to do about it. So let's talk about Venus in Cancer first, which um Venus in Cancer is legitimately like the ultimate mother. This is the most mothering energy that, I mean, if you have like Sun, Venus, Cancer, you're just in the fourth, like, hi, you are what is happening here, world's greatest mom. There's a lot of loyalty that needs to be acknowledged with Venus in Cancer, not just for herself, but from others. It's one of those where maybe that, yep, Ace of Swords. It's one of those where maybe there's a big sense of pride in like identity. I'm getting the word identity with this Ace of Swords here. An identity that, my loyalty is how I show love, is how I embody love, is how I embody it's how I pass on the things that I'm looking to pass on when I'm in Cancer. There's also a sense with this Eight of Swords of security, deep emotional, deep security and roots in security. So Venus already with her, she rules Taurus. Taurus is all about the security for the long term. Now, Taurus will absolutely dig itself through the mud in order to gain long-term security. Venus takes that security and heads into Cancer and goes, no, I need it now, and it needs to be that something that surrounds me. My home life, my four walls have to be secure. My immediate environment needs to be secure. I need to be secure that everybody around me knows that I'm loyal, knows that I'm a mother, knows that I protect my cubs, all of those kind of really um, immediate security needs. There's a huge sense of home and family with Venus in Cancer. And really, like, subconsciously, Cancer also deals in the emotional and the instinctual. And then Venus gets in here and that like doubles. So, like, put a double heaping of emotional and instinctual energy around you, but it's not the one that is like right in front of your face. Like, it could be something where you're watching a TV show and like a commercial comes on or something silly happens and you just start crying and you're like, why am I crying right now? Because it's tapping something subconsciously that wants to come out into the forefront, that is there to kind of guide you and again, wrap you in those kind of concepts of Venus and Cancer, that mother, that loyalty, and that security. Ooh, talk about security, Six of Swords. I love that we're getting these swords as we get into Cancer, but it's prominent, right? Like, this is, I mean, there is water here. This is a journey that I know for me, I have my Mars is in Cancer, 29 degrees. That is the only energy that I have in Cancer. And I have historically always, um, I've always really struggled getting into Cancerian energy, really embracing it. I've, been working on that through the years, but it is such a different way of being that it's really interesting how this journey of Cancer can really take you down, what it can take you down, what you end up learning about yourself. Again, that Mars packs a punch. That's where my Mars is. So there's this really like interesting thing that happens where it's sneaky as fuck. Mars like sandblasts me, like literally hits me over the side of the head all the time because he's in this last degree for me of Cancer. It's an energy I don't normally like really play in a lot. I do not have a lot of water energy in my chart. And it's a journey. I learn something about myself every time Mars has some sort of my natal Mars has some sort of hard aspect. And it's always in the, excuse me, it's always in the Cancerian themes. And it's in my second house. So you get Taurus on top of that, which at least I can deal with fixed Earth. I got that. So, you know, but it's all of these learning opportunities on how to handle the water, how to handle this subconscious, instinctual, secure, loyal energy. And it's also during this time, especially when Venus is in Cancer, there's a lot that shows up in your physical body. So, whatever you're dealing with internally ends up showing up externally on your body. So, if you're having some sort of heartache, maybe you have this like red patch that you start getting like hives or something. It's very interesting how your internal ways end up showing up in these external areas. So you could, like, oh, I'm stressed. All of a sudden, you don't really get pimples. You have pimples everywhere. You're like, what is happening right now? Venus in Cancer. All right, let's move on. So that was Venus in Cancer. Let's talk about Mercury in Cancer, and then we'll bring both of them together. Ooh, look at that. All right, Mercury in Cancer. Well, here we have the emotional and instinctual internal space of Venus meeting the emotional mind. Oh, joy. Mercury in Cancer, though, can be really wonderful for receptivity of others, especially because it is this like, oh, I love that. Look at these two cards coming out for Mercury. We have the Nine of Pentacles, which I love, and we have the Sun. Yay, happy days. Like, talk about being able to combat this Venus in Cancer energy. Like, it's the perfect balance. Like, look at how perfectly balanced these two cards are with each other, right? So this is our Venus, this is our Mercury, and then look at how perfectly balanced these two cards are. This is our Venus, this is our Mercury. Like the sun is going to shine. Don't worry, you're going to get to the other end. Don't even worry about it. We've got a great and that's what Mercury and Venus in Cancer is all about. Remember, I talked and I started this whole conversation about it feels very much like a supportive energy. It feels very much like there's this amazing balance occurring. And here we see it out even further laid out in the cards. So you have this emotional mind with Mercury in Cancer. Again, it's very receptive. It's very thoughtful. It doesn't want to harm or hurt. Words don't cut like they can in other signs. Um, you really like there's an immense caring. I mean, this Nine of Pentacles didn't get all of this luxury without some sort of care and pride in what they were doing. And so there's this need to really care for what you are absorbing, what you are absorbing in your mind, your eyes, your ears, how thoughts are coming through. You can't just go and like, think about like harmonic resonances, right? Everything has this harmony to it. And if you're just like blasting this like crazy, like energy at yourself and at things, and you're just sitting in this like space, Mercury in Cancer is going to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Our parasympathetic nervous system, our sympathetic nervous system can't handle that shit. Let's tone it down. Let's do a little ohms. Let's take a little care. Let's actually, like, while this is happening, let's take a breath. Let's do a Sunday detox of social media. So there's very much this ability to sympathize. So you do want to watch that. Sympathy and empathy are very, very different. And you can tend to, with Mercury and Cancer, really lean on that sympathy. What we don't want to see is as Mercury and Venus are working together, you don't want to get into a victim triangle. You don't want to be the savior. You don't want to be the persecutor. You want to be able to have really healthy and supportive conversations because Mercury in Cancer ultimately, it's a psychic energy. It's an auditory learning energy. It's a visual learning energy. Um it's the ability to see and to put the heart forward, see the home life, see the family life, but it can't be in detriment to self. And that to me is really what, Venus's role in maybe being that older sister, being the elder of the two, can really come in and go, look, this can be a really amazing time. Let's look at it. Let's continue to be optimistic. Jupiter is in Gemini still. Let's continue to be optimistic about everything, but let's take the path of, really doing something good here. Let's take this path, which intuitive, I'm being really called, like I'm being really called to take down this journey. I'm being really called to journal everything in Cancer. I'm being really called to take like an easy. I'm being really called to very much listen to my intuitive powers. And it's like Mercury's like, hell yes. Hell yes. That's exact. If you are being called, I'm here. I'm going to follow along. We'll quiet the monkey mind. We'll give you space, Venus, to really come through with the intuitive hits. We'll give you space to really make the sunshine, really bring forth what you need to bring forth into the world. Um, Okay, that is what they are saying. So we're going to leave these cards on deck and we are going to head now to the chart Chronicles. So I already have the chart up. So just to level set again, Venus and Mercury we're going to go through actually all dates, but their exact conjunction will happen on the 17th at 7:42 a.m. Central at 0 degrees 20 arc minutes of Cancer. It's going to be so amazing. Okay. So let me get my automated chart up here real quick. All right. So this one, we won't have a bunch of fun, circles and everything, but we'll get you what you need. Okay. First thing that I want to level set on, and this comes back to this Eight of Cups right here, is Mercury and Venus conjunctions are lovely. They are lovely. They are the blend of the mind and the heart. They're the blend of instinctual and action based. They're this beautiful blend of the Seven of Cups here, where you see action, but you also see the intuitive pieces of it. They do happen. This is not like a holy cow, I can't believe that this, conjunction is happening. They do happen often. This isn't a once in a blue moon transit. Twice. They will happen twice this year. So that other one, I believe, did I write it down? Yes, I did. It will happen in August. I think. Nope, wait, won't happen in August. Maybe I didn't write it down. Anyways, I digress. So, knowing that this is here, the first thing that I want to point out, and this is the chart of when Venus hits 29 degrees of Gemini. So you can see we have the sun here at 25, we have Mercury here at 27, and then Venus is right here at the 29-degree mark. So there is a reason why I'm taking it back from June 16th when Venus hits 29 degrees of Gemini. We're going to look at Mercury the same. We're going to look at each ingress into Cancer and then their conjunction. So, what I want you to notice right away is this is the ascendant line and the descendant line. This big black line right here that goes across the chart. This means that this is under the horizon line. So when you have that, and especially you have the sun here at 25 degrees, what this means is that Mercury and Venus have just gone through the beams of the sun. So they were ahead of the sun, they were up here, and they have worked their way through having their cazimi with the sun, being blessed and beautified by the sun's energy, Icarus flying into the sun, being reborn, having their phoenix moment. And now they are coming out of that by 2 degrees and from Mercury and 4 degrees from Venus. They are coming out of that and moving away. But what this means when you see something like this is Mercury and Venus are still invisible. They are under the beams of the sun, meaning when we look from Earth, from our perspective on Earth, wherever Mercury and Venus lands in your horizon, we can't see them because the sun's rays, the sun is so bright that it dims and diminishes the light of Mercury and Venus. So this, this ups where it's dark, it's moon, there is no sun. Look, the sun, like it's trying to come. We're working. They are having this secret meetup. They are having this, we can't visualize, we can't see everything that is happening with this moment is going to be happening internally, personally, in the dark of night, under the beams of the sun. But they're working together. They're working together to come out of that shadow, to come out of whatever new birth has occurred. And they're doing so in the very first degree of Cancer. And that's really amazing. So, what deals are they making in the shadows, right? Like, what is this? What are these deals that they're making in the shadows that are quiet? It takes introspection. Um it takes, listening. It takes pausing. It takes understanding. It takes that empathy, not sympathy. So let me just level set before we move on to the chart where we see Mercury at 29 degrees. So I want to start with our Mercury retrograde and go forward where like there's things that we've been doing here. So Mercury stations retrograde at 4 degrees 6 arc minutes of Virgo. So that's going to be down here. This is the sign of Virgo. That's going to happen in August, like we said. And then this is going to be the second meetup. And that's why I wanted to talk about it because this is the first of something happening that is going to accumulate and build until we hit August and we have their second meetup in the sign of Virgo. So we have this meetup in water, which is going to be right here. And then we have this meetup on Earth. Different energies, right? Different energies. We've got cardinal energy starting something new. And then we've got the mutable energy leading into cardinal, which is okay, we need to make some changes so that way we can push forward whatever this newness is as the seasons change, as we hit Mabon, as we get into the autumn equinox. So, what is happening and occurring right here, right now? Is a longer part of the story. So Mercury will station retrograde August 4th. Then, as he retrogrades, so he's going to be the one coming back to meet up with Venus in their second conjunction of 2024. That will happen at 3 degrees 44 minutes, arc minutes of Virgo, 3 days later on August 7th, to say, Yo, sis, I have some things. Remember this? Remember this? Yeah, we need to. Oh, look. I didn't even correlate. Under the beams of the sun. Under the beams of the sun. Whew. All right, I love it when the cards just align perfectly. So All right, sis, let's talk. Let's talk about this. Like, we've got to rehash some things here. And like, this is one where what's this conversation going to be? Take note, take stock. That's really what I'm trying to get at here is pay attention. Pay attention, pay attention to this sun. Pay attention to how you're cultivating your garden. Pay attention to the journey that you're on. Pay attention to the intuitive hits that you're getting. Pay attention that it's going to be a balance of masculine and feminine energies that are going to get you there. Okay. So let's animate this chart. So we are going to head. So this is June 16th, 5:51 a.m. Venus at 29 degrees. 12 hours later. All right. 12 hours later. We're going to look way up here at 5:07 p.m. Mercury will hit 29 degrees of Gemini. So here's Mercury here, 2904. Here's the sun. The sun's moved to 26. So we're now 3 degrees. And now we start a conjunction by degree. So this is not an exact conjunction because you can see the arc minutes are off, but they are conjunction by degree. Again, this is June 16th. So they are going to be at this 29 degrees. They are going to finalize their time together in Gemini. Then they are going to move together into Cancer in a degree conjunction. So let's head over to the 17th at 1:20 a.m. Central Standard Time. Hold on, let me get that. All right, so now we need to look down here. So 1:20 a.m. June 17th, you see Venus at 0 degrees, 0 arc minutes of Cancer. This is her ingress. Mercury is still working his way, 29 degrees, 44 arc minutes. The sun is at 26 here. So this will happen at 1:20 a.m. And then a little under 3 hours later, you will see Mercury now at 0 degrees, 0 arc minutes of Cancer. This is going to be 4:07 a.m. So again, a conjunction by degree, not the exact conjunction just yet. Then about 3+ hours later at 7:51 a.m., look at what we have here. 0 degrees, 20 arc minutes of Cancer under the beams of the sun. We have our official meetup of Venus and Mercury. Isn't this beautiful? It's so beautiful. Ah, such good energy, such good like this meetup is going to be really special, really important. Again, it's the start of something that's going to that will accumulate as we get into this Virgo energy and as Venus and Mercury, in pretty close proximity to each other, makes their way through Cancer, makes their way through Leo, and then heads into Virgo. And again, that's going to be towards August and getting into the equinox. Now, one other thing that I want to make sure to speak about with this conjunction. So, furthering this Eight of Cups here with this kind of like cloak and dagger sort of story we have going on. If you notice, this really amazing red line is a square to our beautiful friend Neptune, which is at 29 degrees, 52 arc minutes of Pisces. Neptune will not head into Aries this year. Neptune will station retrograde at that 29 degrees and then head back. We won't get Neptune in Aries until next year, but it's like I'm hearing the song in my head, The Final Countdown. Like that literally just popped into my head. So if we here we have a direct Neptune, Um, Slowing down to station retrograde, hitting this square. This is where really dipping in, and especially they're under the beams of the sun, making deals in the dusk, making deals in twilight, making deals in the dark. This is where deep internal, like you really, this is all inside stuff. Unclear communication, not seeing things, having what you see is deceptive. It's not real. Dissolving of boundaries. And we even have more water to add on top of that. So lots of watery sort of things happening where, like, don't let this boat sink. You have to stay strong. Go into those practices that you have. Remember, we need a little bit of this. We need this tender, loving care with the Nine of Pentacles. We need to have this Jupiter, the sun is here. Let it give you life. Let it burn away and burn away that deception, burn away that boundary, burn away, not the boundary, excuse me, burn away the fog that Neptune may place on some of this. Um, be clear in your communication. Maybe don't speak before you think. That could be a thing. So I have a couple of questions that as we look at this chart and as we look at this moment in time, let's really sit with some of these questions. So, how do you relate to people with the words that you use? How do you take your intellect and use it to make connections? Do you speak about the subconscious? Do you bring these internal ideas, thoughts, and ideations? Do you bring them to life? How do you put feelings into words? How do you present yourself? How do you present your style? How do you present your home? And what does that mean for you? These 2 days really feel like transition. Something is transitioning. It's even in the cards. You've seen all the cards. All of the cards talk about transition, 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 transition. And that transition, whatever that is going to then accumulate and have a longer tail getting into that August Virgo energy. Could be a transition of our social interactions and our emotional expressions. Again, watch that square to Neptune, though. Really listen to yourself. If yourself is really like, I shouldn't be doing this, listen to that. You should. Come on. You really should. Like everybody else is telling you, everybody else is doing it. Whoa, that's not my journey right now. It could be a transition of our focus on personal and collective identities. Who are we in the broader scheme of things? Who is everybody else in our very, very delicate universe? Could be a transition of the displaying of our true selves to the world. Maybe this is the onion unpeeling. Maybe you're like, you know what? This is not, I'm shedding some skins here. And that's what this Zimi was all about, was this shedding of skins and identity and coming out into this whole new world and really defining myself. So that is what we have. There is a Sabian symbol exploration video on this conjunction. It is already up on YouTube, X, and TikTok. YouTube will be in the Sabian exploration playlist, X will be in the highlights, and TikTok will be on my main page. All right, so this is the point in the episode. Oh, did my camera freeze? Stop yourself. Oh, let's look. I wasn't even here with y'all. Let me get this camera back up. Oh, that is not what I want to do. Pivot. Hold please while we fix our technical issues. There we go. Well, hopefully you were paying way more attention to the chart then, and I'm glad I was speaking about the cards. So this is the point of the episode where I ask that if you are finding this information valuable, that you thumbs up, give a heart, subscribe, follow, and explore our other content. So here we are at the Twitchy Tip of the week. We have made it to the end, my friends, and I end each episode this way. This tip is random and completely comes to me through intuitive means. So when I was thinking about Mars square Pluto, because obviously next week is really more so of this Venus and Mercury and Cancer energy. So I wanted to focus on something for this week. Mars square Pluto, we're here, right? It won't be exact until Tuesday. However, it is very prominent. We are feeling it. I was really, really drawn to Marcus Aurelius. His book, Meditations, is a collection of his thoughts as he navigated his rule as a Roman emperor. And Marcus Aurelius was a Stoic, which he learned from Epictetus. And Stoicism is it's amazing. I highly encourage anybody to read Meditations. It's a super like thin, slim book packed full of the most like mind altering, life altering insights. And the biggest tenet being with Stoicism is the cosmos is a unity governed by an intelligence. And the human soul is part of that divine intelligence and can therefore stand, if naked and alone, at least pure and undefiled amidst chaos and futility. So when I was thinking about all of this, and I put these two quotes, since it is this Mars and Pluto, we have Mercury and Gemini helping us out with our communication, but these are thought things. So you have power over your mind, no outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So whatever Mars square Pluto is bringing up for you, whatever this time is bringing up for you, whatever like crazy thoughts are going through your head, just know like things are not that big of a deal. They may seem like it, and I'm not degrading anybody's experience to say like it's not a big deal. It's just, yes, I fall victim to this all the time. My husband has to talk me off of ledges all the time. It definitely seems like a big deal until you sit down, you take a breath, you go inside, you take a quiet moment of pause, you stop reacting, you tune into get your parasympathetic nervous system on board, take some deep breaths, and then you begin to walk it back and you go, okay, actually, this is a deal, but it's not as big of a deal as I thought it was. I can do something with this. I can't do anything about these outside events, but I can do something about how I think about it, how I react to it. I can do something about my thoughts. So that is the Twitchy tip of the week. That is where I am going to leave you. I will be recording and posting episode 68 on Tuesday as normal. That is super exciting. Thank you for your patience as life changed. Life has been changing. So, very excited to still be able to offer this episode. And may your days be filled with enchantment, your nights be guided by the stars, and your spirit forever be in tune with the cosmic dance. Keep those third eyes open, my fellow Twitchy seekers. Until next time, blessed be and stay twitchy.
In the cosmic dance where stars align, Milani guides us through signs divine, astrology secrets in the night sky. revealed in her sessions where mysteries lie. Heal, thrive, grow in the mystic flow on Twitchy Tuesdays, where the curious go. Tarot cards spread futures foretold in Milani's